Some people are suspected of slaughtering their loved ones, but they're let off because there's just not enough proof that they did it. And with the exception of perhaps O.J. Simpson, none of them is more famous than Casey Anthony. She was acquitted in 2011 of the death of her 2-year-old daughter, whose remains were found wrapped up in the woods by the home where they lived with Casey's parents. And George and Cindy Anthony have faced their own fair share of accusations from the public and from Casey's own lawyers, who argued they found little Kaylee drowned in the pool and then buried her body themselves. 10 years after little Kaylee vanished, it is clear that George and Cindy are still grieving deeply, though they definitely don't agree what happened to that little girl. In a tense interview with A&E.
I believe that it's true, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
That she drowned.
That she drowned.
Casey gave Kaylee too much of something to possibly make her go to sleep. She didn't wake up. Or if she did,
It was an accident, though.
Why would you give a child something to make them go to sleep when that child was so content she would have fallen asleep anywhere?
Cindy is reportedly hesitant to say that her daughter killed Kaylee, but she doesn't hold back a thing when she's accusing George of turning Casey into a liar.
Started with her and
George,
taking money out.
Casey learned by example, and I.
Wow,
Okay,
you're
let's,
really...
wait.
Please,
No, but I'm
please,
telling you, there
please
was you
don't
lied for
personally
me
attack
for
me.
several years, and that's where our daughter got it.
Do not personally attack me at this.
No, I'm
It's not supposed to be about us.
I understand
It's not supposed to be that personal attack on
But
you
I
and me.
mean,
I'm not doing that
I
to
gave you the benefit of the doubt.
But you're taking a
No,
totally
but-
different direction here.
It's very traumatic to me, because you're making me relive everything again. Who wants to relive their granddaughter's death every... I mean, damn it.
And Vinoo Varghese is a defense attorney. The confusion of that family. A young woman in a pink frock T-shirt, sort of frumpy-looking courtroom costume, as many of us saw it, to dress down her, her image as the sexy mom who was out partying and dancing while that child was rotting. She was not supported by her family in the celebration that should be a family victory. So walk me through what a defense attorney would do at this point, because Jose Baez was in the crosshairs of Casey's father.
Look, a big part of the defense was that Casey Anthony didn't tell that this was an accidental drowning, and she didn't report it right away because she feared her father, who she said had been molesting her since she was 8 years old. So this was a major part of the defense. So it's not surprising that George is having the reaction that he does, because in essence he was blamed, for the death. So look, this kind of interview is really surprising. It's disheartening. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure why they're doing this. I do, have a concern. Judge, with all due respect, I think, you're a judge. The evidence spoke. The jury came back with a verdict. They found her not guilty of intentional murder, and they convicted her for lying to authorities. As a practicing attorney, it concerns me when a judge makes comments about what he thinks the verdict should have been.
If you listen carefully
go
to
ahead
what I
and respond to that.
No, let me address this. If you listen carefully to what I said the evidence would support a verdict if you believe that. I did not give an opinion as to her guilt or innocence. So you need to stand corrected, because I didn't say that.
I'm not sure I'm not sure how that's different than saying that you believe she was guilty.
Judges,
I'm concerned.
On a motion for judgment of acquittal, judges each and every day rule as to whether or not there's sufficient evidence that if the jury chooses to believe that evidence, it will sustain a verdict. And that's simply what I did. If you had listened carefully,
well, it's saying you said there's enough evidence to make out a case.
Did I
that doesn't mean there's enough evidence to convict her.
You're hearing what you want to hear, sir,
we have a delay.
And you're saying what you want to say.
So we have a delay, and I'm just going to jump in, because we can talk about 2 seconds over one another without hearing the other person. The life and death of 5-year-old Lucas Hernandez is filled with tragedy and now many questions that demand answers. Lucas went missing from his home in Wichita, Kansas, back in February. At the time, his stepmom, Emily Glass, told the officers that she'd seen him earlier in the day in his bedroom. According to police, Glass says she went for a shower, then took a 3-hour nap, only to find him missing when she woke up. But Lucas's body was just found a couple days ago under a bridge, and police say it was that stepmother, the girlfriend of Lucas's dad, who actually took a private investigator to the site where Lucas's decomposing body was found. She's been arrested, she's been booked into jail, but it's for felony obstruction of justice, not murder. And the investigation is ongoing. So defense attorney Vinoo Varghese, no murder, and I think a lot of people would wonder why not? Why not?
Because I think clearly the police don't have enough evidence to charge her yet. I think that's what they're waiting for. They're charging on obstruction. I'm not sure how it's obstruction, because it seems like just on its own.
Because she said he was missing, but she seemed to know where his body was.
Well, according to her, she found a private investigator. I think the concern here for her is that there's no privilege with this guy. So initially, apparently the investigator refused to speak to the police, but there's no protections for her.
Yeah,
so whatever is said to this guy is going to come out, or he's going to be held in contempt.
Sad story. And you know what? Investigation's still going on, so there very well could be a murder charge. You never know. Vinoo, stand by if you will. Tonight, a single tweet has sent Hollywood into a tailspin. Roseanne Barr has been fired, and the hit revival of her 90s sitcom is officially off the air. ABC announced it was canceling season 2 of Roseanne, just hours after the veteran comedian tweeted this early morning dig at former Obama chief aide Valerie Jarrett. Quote, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ Valerie Jarrett. Want to bring in my panel. Entertainment Tonight host and CNN contributor Nichelle Turner's with me. Pop culture expert and TV journalist John Murray. Former talk show host Dick Cavett and legend of the screen, may I add, is here with me in New York. And president of the Reputation Doctor, Mike Paul, is with me, and defense attorney Vinoo Varghese.